And we got and actually I'm going to introduce to the stream. Holy shit. We got Cheyenne, right? We got Rich Catino is back, and we got arguably my favorite metal singer of all time is Bobby Blitz, man. Thank you so much for joining us. It's truly an honor, man.
That was one hell of an introduction there. Don't put any pressure on me. I just got here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you're gonna sing your song now, right, Bobby?
Yeah, of course. How you guys doing? Good to see all of you.
Yeah, good to see you. So, also one of the greatest laughs in just in the metal history in the world. One of the great laughs is Bobby Blitz.
But, that's it. I'm out of here.
Actually, you just missed literally by seconds. Alan Tecchio was here, so we'll see if we can get him back. I'm not sure if I don't know if he had to leave or what, but I will.
He was worried about that noise that kept creeping into the feed there.
So
a fantastic New Jersey talent, Alan is. I was into the Watchtower stuff, but for sure the nonfiction stuff. We actually toured with those guys in '93. I think it was In the Know, and I'm still in touch with Dan all the time. So that was one heck of a New Jersey offering to the rest of the world.
Yeah. Great stuff. Yeah, Hades too. I go way back, and his new stuff with Michael Pond is great. But I want to introduce you guys because we got Cheyenne Wright is a Hugo Award. I never get my fucking directions right. He's a Hugo Award-winning artist. He's done many comics and many big games. He's won all kinds of awards. Just fucking amazing. And Cheyenne, Bobby Blitz of Overkill. I mean, it's hard to introduce you, man. You're a fucking legend. So I do appreciate you taking the time. I hope we can curse. So I hope you don't mind, Bobby.
Cheyenne, you ought to see me. You ought to see me mowing my own lawn. It's not as good as he.
I don't mow my lawn. I just let it grow, man. I scare away everybody else on the block.
Pleasure to meet you, man.
But I'll ping Alan Tecchio and see if we can get him back. Like I said, I don't know if he dropped off because his phone was going nuts or what. But yeah, so Rich, Rich and I talked about Bobby before you joined. We have a bunch of questions for you. We're not going to this. We don't want to put you on the spot, but we had some questions for you. So, Rich, let me ping Alan and go ahead and see what you got. You started.
Well, since we're doing this thing for the Diamond Head song for the Am I Evil graphic novel, what's your memories of that song? Diamond Head, when you first heard it, did you ever tour with Diamond Head? A couple of those things.
I don't have many memories of it. I mean, obviously I was exposed to it. I was, to some degree a student of the new wave of British heavy metal, but that came rushing in all at one time. I mean, I would say, this is what, 78, I guess, 80. I mean, Metallica covering it 6 years later.
Yeah.
This all came rushing in my late teens, so it was kind of overwhelming with all the stuff that was going on, Tank and Angel Witch, et cetera, et cetera. So I was exposed to the Diamond Head cut first, but I think that when I revisited it with Garage Days was when I truly understood its value. And I only mean that because I had, for instance, that 6 years to decipher and kind of weed through all those bands, whether it be Angel Witch or Tank or whatever, Tigers of Pantang. We're throwing some pretty heavy rock and roll out that time. But I think by 6 years later, I remember Diamond Head being head and shoulders above many of the rest.
And were you a fan of the song?
Yeah, of course. Oh, of course. I mean, even the original. But again, it was a different era. You can get your information is at your fingertips today.
Right.
Did I own everything back then? No. I mean, we were tape traders and parking lot guys. Copying cassettes. The generation from generation to each cassette got worse and worse. So, you might have had this kind of compilation of all this shit going on, but by the end of it, it just sounded like so, but this was the original or the precursor to social media was, social gathering and trading things. So we had at least, at that particular time, we had the dual cassette deck. So you could spin the original over here and then you could bootleg the other side and give it to your friends. We're the original Napster,
And then the end of the song cuts out because it gets the end of side A on your tape. Yeah, like I have most of the song.
A 90-minute tape you're doing with a 60-minute Maxell. Like all that spells is douchebaggery,
Right. We were talking before you joined, Bobby, also about back in Jersey. There was all the flea markets. We would get our stuff from Watchung Market and Union Market and all those places. That was, you're right. That's how we got it. Like people take it for granted how much everything. Like, hey, you hear that song? I want to go to YouTube right now and hear it. But yeah, I'd have to like really hunt down somebody who had it, or maybe WSOU would play it. But that was it. That's what we had back then. These damn kids today don't know.
You make a great point, man. I mean, it was like we would set up our weekends to go to the Route 18 flea market. Oh boy, I guess it was it New Brunswick or South River? It was right off the turnpike. And John Zazula, who of Metallica fame and of during that Garage Days record, had his first. It wasn't brick and mortar. It was a weekend booth at a flea market, So it was just, it's kind of like Bubba and Cooter's place, and just look around and talk to other metalheads, and a majority of it was the new wave of British heavy metal. That being, he'd get the Canadians in there like Anvil or Raven from the UK, and geez, that's the first place I saw the Venom record. So I mean that was a huge informational cog for us. Was going to that place on the weekends, getting a case of beer, and then hanging out in the parking lot for 4 hours later.
Yeah.
So I think you already answered. I was going to ask how important was that for Overkill to get started, but I think I kind of heard that a little bit in what you just said.
Oh, sure. But that was the wait list for everybody back then. I mean, it's I have generation on all you guys, so I mean, it's whatever. I'm actually happy about it at this particular time as the world's blowing up around me.
Yeah. Was Field of Fire about California or what? Yeah.
Yeah, everything, right?
Oh, God.
But I mean, we talked to some guys, and Rich and I have talked about this. Some guys don't maintain over the years, but you still got it. I mean, we heard you in the last couple albums and the cover album that you did this past year. I mean, your voice is still got it. You still got all the grit and gravel and the power. I mean, what's your secret? How do you maintain all that?
I'm too stupid to give up. That's that's all it is. I really don't know. I mean, I love doing this. I mean, you see me with the vape a lot right now. It's my pacifier. I mean, I dropped the Marlboros almost 10 years ago. I mean, that was kind of that re-energized the vocal cords, re-energized some of the energy, obviously. I try to do things in moderation, the drugs are gone, obviously, the mean greenies are not, whatever. I walk, I mow my own lawn. And then this week I'm letting it grow. I'm going with you.
All right, Rich, I don't want to ask all the questions. Like I said, this is, I got plenty more. So as long as you can, as much time as you got.
Sure, I'll give these guys a few minutes. I mean, I stopped by. I mean, Rich and I are old friends from all the way back in the Tim Mallory days of Overkill, where I actually walked over and said, "Who's this fucking guy? Keeps following me around." And we got to be friends soon thereafter. So.
Yeah. Tim Mallory came to see Rich and me play at the Crossroads with an old band. Yeah, I remember that. And that was the night my amp blew up, so he couldn't hear me at all. I was like, I want to show off for the drummer from Overkill, and couldn't fucking hear me at all. But whatever, that's kind of how it goes.
That was at one of those Jersey Shore clubs like the Abyss or something like that, right?
No, that was at Crossroads in Garwood.
Crossroads, okay.
Yeah.
I think I did a benefit there. There's that's right down from Garwood, Cranford.
Yep, right on the border.
Yeah.
Route 37. It's right on the border, right?
Yeah.
It's that kind of like shit kicking bar. I did the RAD benefit there with a bunch of guys. That was my first one. Mark Ternillo from TT Quick fame got me into. He did a cover. He covered a Nazareth song on as a bonus track for us on a record called White Devil Armory. We did a song called Miss Misery, and it was and Mark and I did a duet, and he had Andy Sneap do his vocals, and man, they were done in like 4 days, and I knew he was the perfect partner to sing this with. I mean, we're both cut from a similar cloth, I suppose. And I said, hey, man, if you ever need anything, let me know. He goes, I need something. I need you at a benefit for muscular dystrophy. I was like, I was only kidding. But that was my first gig with RAD, Rock Against Dystrophy, and Mark and I became fast friends from that point on. So it was I know the bar. So.
Okay.
All right. Cool. All right. I'm also going to text. Like I said, I texted Techio. I'm also going to text another special guest. But I got to. So actually, because like I said, I don't get starstruck a lot. I'm a little starstruck right now because I've been listening to you my whole life. Like I said, this side 2 of Taking Over got so many plays that year with me. That was such a big deal. And the whole album, of course, was a big deal. But that was just such a big deal. Just daily, it was just a routine. Rewind all the way to Power Slave. I mean, Power Surge, not Power Slave. It's a different one that means a lot to me. But yeah, rewind all the way to Power Surge and play. But yeah, I gotta. So I met you for the horoscope, and just to give people an idea of what a cool guy Bobby Blitz was. I met you when I was 14 or 15 at the horoscope release party. You remember, right? You remember when you met me at that time. But yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You looked exactly the same, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I still have all the same hair. Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, we walked up, and my friends were like, "Bobby Blitz, this guy's your biggest fan," and you just like ripped one of the posters off the wall, like, "Here you go, kid," and you like handed me the poster. It was just amazing. So like I said, that's not a question, but I had to tell you that story. It was just
that's
great fucking memory.
That was a good party too. Yeah.
Jack, you side 2 of Taking Over, one of my favorite albums too, and they put Electro Violence in the set a few tours ago, right, Bob? I forgot what tour that was. That's because I kept on bothering you for years.
Oh, how's everything going? I get this real nice email. When's Electro Violence going in the set? I'm like, oh, this guy. Why did I ever say hello to this fucking guy down at Gear Studio?
Did you enjoy putting that back in the set? How was it?
Oh, sure. I mean, it's good to revisit those days. Come on. I mean, part of this. I mean, if you're honest, sure, we have validity in the current day because we can still perform well and we can still write. But it's the journey itself. Each step is what brings you to today. So if there's somebody's favorite moments, I like going back there too, man. Because I mean, all you're asking me to do is relive my youth, or my, the carefree days when I didn't have a lawn, where I could go out there and I didn't give a flying fuck about, what was happening or, Right. So sure, there's a certain snot, piss, and vinegar that goes with that stuff. And as long as you're not doing it on a continuous basis and you throw it in there, for a year's worth of touring, it's fun. It's fun going back. Sure.
Cool. Yeah. Is there a song that you just wouldn't play live that you don't like?
Oh, God, probably half of them. I mean, it's like, how many do we have? I mean, there's like we're working on our 20th record at this point, We're talking about 200 songs. I was involved with 200 of them. Dee Dee was involved with 200. Bobby Gustafson was there for 4 records. He was involved with that 40 of them. Rat Skates was there. How many other members? I mean, it's, I can't say that there's one in particular that stands out. I mean, a couple of the ballads I wouldn't do. I mean, there was a couple of ballads in there that were written primarily. I mean, The Years of Decay was a ballad for ballad's sake, and so was a song called Solitude. But then there was something called Private Bleeding that was written after that. That was, it was written for a friend, so it was never meant to be performed. Do I like listening to the song? It brings back a kind of a sour memory about what the motivation for writing the song was. I wouldn't want to perform that song. Not a chance.
Yeah, makes sense. And you mentioned you work on your 20th album, so how's progress on that? Where are you guys at with that?
Well, pretty good. I mean, it's, we're living in Peter pandemic right now, like everyone else, so I mean, it's kind of, what the fuck are you going to do? It's kind of different for us. When we talked earlier and we were all getting acquainted earlier on and busting balls, our way of doing things was always face to face. Our social media was handshaking. Obviously, we had to embrace it as time went on with regard to what technology is, or you become a dinosaur and you're left behind. So, but it's always been a combination for us. It's always been, guys in a room, and then we get the ideas down, and then we take those ideas, we take them home, and then we use the technology to trade ideas, instantaneous information, right? I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So we get the best of both worlds. But under these circumstances, because we got guys out of state at this point, and with the way the rules were changing, and sure, you can fly up here from Florida, but you got to quarantine for 2 weeks, but it can't be in a studio with other people because that's a public business and it's somebody's private domicile. It's like, something, we're never going to get this fucking thing done.
Yeah.
But I think that we've adapted, and I'm trying to look at it from the best case scenario, and that's that because of the restriction put on our normality of at least seeing each other a few times during the writing period, that it's going to have a different flair to it. Maybe a little bit more immediacy, maybe a little bit more pissed offedness because, our world was upside down, much like all of your worlds. I mean, I'm not saying that we're special. I'm saying that, hey, we all took one on the chin. It's just about who can get up after getting knocked down. That's all it is. So I'm kind of hoping that this is a special record based on the circumstances, and also based on this specific time in history. I mean, this is it's unprecedented on multiple levels. So,
yeah. Are your lyrics reflecting that in the album, or are you taking a different route?
I'm not giving you anything. Go fuck yourself.
That's awesome.
Well, you know me. I mean, I'm not political. I mean, I will socially pander here and there. I don't necessarily. I will for sure dance around the issue and allude to the issue or issues. But I'm not. I think that what we do, and one of the reasons we've been able to do this for so long and enjoy it is that we've separated it from much of that element. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong for people to do that. I mean, to be political, to be social. I'm not saying that. I mean, they're artists, man. They want to do what they want. We're more like craftsmen. We want to be the departure from all the bullshit that you live your life in. Will we mention it? Of course. Will there be a tongue-in-cheek title? Of course. I mean, that will happen. Will it be, we're telling you how to live your life? Not a fucking chance. So.
Yeah, I was going to ask for some song titles. Or you can tell me to go fuck myself. I don't know if you have any song titles.
There's You Go Fuck Yourself, Go Fuck Yourself Again. Don't ask me.
That's track 1, 2, and that's tracks 1, 2, and 3. Then, all right, we got it.
That's all the singles.
Very, very interesting concept album.
Yeah, right. Right, it's like The Wall. It's got
Go ahead, Jack. What do you got? First question, Jack.
Nice, but I mean, I'll actually pile up on that. Is another thing going back to that because I was such a fucking dorky little kid. I said, so tell when I met you all those fucking years ago, I said, tell me about the Overkill songs, and you said, these songs are based on there's stuff from Shakespeare in there, there's stuff from Edgar Allan Poe in there. So I was like, this is there's some depth to these guys. They're not they're not just the stereotypical meatheads. Like there's a lot of depth to it. And I think over the years we've seen that too from you guys.
I
that's
think,
not a question either.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's a nice compliment. I was never a lyric writer. I was very lucky to meet these guys, but I was also very lucky to have a great family. And my father busted his balls to send me to a great university, and I didn't know what to take. But I was taking, for instance, English literature, and I was and got into Shakespeare and got into some of the Poe stuff. So. Where did my inspiration come at that particular time? I was just trying to learn it. I didn't even know if it was going to be a craft. I was just trying to make something happen for this particular time in my life with 3 other dudes. And they were putting it on my shoulders to say, hey, you got to come up with some lyrical ideas here. So all I did was I went to what I knew. Went to what I had been reading at that particular time. You dunk back into King Lear. You go into the Raven. Something like this. So for me, it was just it was a good reflection, and I've always said this about Overkill, that what you hear from us, even lyrically, is a good reflection of where I particularly am in my life, or over the last 18 months or 24 months. I mean, it's like, it's a great place to confess your sins, or tell people what you've learned. So as dark or as meat-headed as it seems on occasion, there's some depth in there, and I think that people that identify with that depth is where the connection comes from. Because I mean, people want to confess shit, or tell the new shit that they've learned or run into.
Mhm.
That's great. So I guess we know where you were when you covered "Fuck You." Then I guess that's. Yeah.
I was actually in Cleveland. We were in that's in Spinal Tap, right? Where they get caught in the basement. Rock on, Cleveland, or something like. Here we come, Cleveland.
Yeah.
That was just, "Fuck You" came about, and I don't think we even knew it was a Subhumans cover at the beginning, because I remember we ended up in Montreal, Dee Dee and I, and we went up for a thing called World War III back in 1984. I just bought. It's the only new car I've ever owned in my life. I bought a 1984 Renault Alliance for like $4,500, and signed away my life for like a 10-year payment plan. The car was only good for 3 years. But the first thing I did was we went to World War III, and it was Celtic Frost, Destruction, and Voivod in Montreal. And we got up there a day early, and we ended up in this punk club, and we saw a Canadian punk band called DOA. Performing "Fuck You" live, and were we aware of the song before? Yeah, but then seeing it live, and then boom, it was in our set. From that point on. So
it's very fitting. It just fits great for you guys.
the meat-headed side.
It's the Jersey side, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I want to ask you that, because I've talked to some people about this. Jersey's got such a distinctive metal attitude and sound. I mean, how much? And actually, when I saw you guys out here 2 or 3 years ago, you totally brought the Jersey. I live in Arizona now, by the way, and you totally brought the Jersey. So can you tell us a little bit about just how much Jersey attitude and culture means to Overkill and the whole metal world there? And
was that Club Red, or was that the other place?
There's the Marquee one. The
Marquee.
One in Tempe and the Marquee.
Yeah. That's a good venue.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that we've always, I mean, we're proud Jersey guys. I mean, we have that working class kind of an attitude, demeanor. I think you've seen that. I mean, I don't think I have to explain it. I think anybody who's been around for almost 40 years, and is not killing it on, the size of the bank accounts, is doing it because they like to and likes the work. So I think that we've always kind of thought locally, but acted globally. We've taken that New Jersey, welcome to the Garden State kind of vibe with us, wherever we go, because it's something that we're very proud of. That this is where we're from. I mean, you know it, Rich. I mean, it's like you live here. Listen, it's not the best place on the face of the earth when it comes to taxes and the medical waste and what they're asking you to do. Who's running the place?
Underneath the turnpike, right?
That's right. Yeah. That's right. But yeah, I'm going to clutch onto this place, and you will have to rip it out of my cold dead hand. That is, that's kind of the feeling, and it gives you, I don't know. There's a feeling of camaraderie here. I mean, we do a show in New Jersey. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a bigger deal than a show in New York for us, Yeah. Because New York are the bridge and tunnel babies. These are the borough kids. And then there's 35% Jersey in there. But we do a Jersey show, man. It is 95% New Jersey, and they're off the fucking hook because they know we know that they know what we know.
And nobody else needs to know.
And nobody. Keep your mouth shut and work fucking hard.
That's the most Jersey moment of the night, yeah. But we got and Cheyenne is up in Seattle. You Can you tell us a little bit about the clubs up there? What's been like playing, I don't know, anywhere on the West Coast? I guess when it's not on fire.
I haven't been on the inside of a club in forever. I grew up, I was an 80s kid, and I grew up actually nowhere near here. I grew up in Hawaii, where there was, barely a metal scene. There was sort of one in downtown Waikiki, and that was about it. And so it would be like a 2-hour drive to get to see anything at any time. And but then so all through high school, I had to rely solely on what I could get off the radio, or like you said, like from friends' tapes and that sort of thing. And I had an older brother who moved, that I didn't grow up with, moved to Hawaii to live with us in my last couple of years of high school, and he brought a whole bunch of new stuff that I hadn't heard before, so I got to experience all that. And then right out of high school, I got a job working as a late night radio DJ. So for this really weird kind of a radio station called Radio Free Hawaii, which was launching this idea where we would put out these ballot boxes like all over Hawaii, where people could vote on these paper ballots, because this was like not quite, but the internet doesn't really exist just yet. It was just before it became a thing. We had all these paper ballots where people could write down the 10 songs they wanted us to play and the 3 songs they wanted us to stop playing. And then every week it would be this really weird top 35 instead of a top 20 list of music. But as a result, the radio station had to have on stock everything, all kinds of music, any kind of music. And then I would work from midnight till 5:30 in the morning, and I'd be playing the weird, the whatever the kids' favorite pop music was, broadcasting that out. But I was listening to the back catalog of everything that they had, because I could now listen to everything I could get my hands on. And that was a lot of fun.
All right. Now look who we got. We just added someone else to the chat. I think you gentlemen know each other. Jack, you probably don't know Cheyenne Wright. He was just telling us about Hawaiian radio. But we got Bob Blitz. Got the New Jersey fucking legends here. Starting with Rich Catino, of course. And then got Jack Frost of Seven Witches and Bobby Blitz. You guys know each other?
Never met him.
Never met him. How you doing, Mr. Blitz?
I'm just afraid I owe him money. I was enjoying Cheyenne's take on the 10 songs they wanted to hear and 3 they didn't.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was they sent a ballot out every week, and they'd have ballots all over Hawaii and say, what 10 songs do you want to hear, and what 3 songs do you want us to stop playing? And I was wondering until he explained it if Overkill ever showed up on that.
Never. Come on, man. How can you not want to hear an Overkill song? Come on, let's be honest.
I think if you look for Radio Free Hawaii, there are some people out there that have like these archives, because we existed before the internet was really popular, but there's like these archives of what our playlists of the week were for each week for the like 3 years that the station was solvent and made money, so you might be able to see if you ever charted there. I can't remember. Like I said, that's a lifetime ago.
I'll give it a shot.
Out of high school.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I used to play you guys I was at Union County College. I was on the radio station, but it's funny because it was a college radio station. So I'd play you guys, the CD would come in, and I'd walk in the next week to my show, and all the CDs are gone because it's fucking college students. They're like, hey, I'll take this CD home.
Well, that means you must have spun Jack. You must have spun Jack's stuff a lot too, because Jack's been in this whole scene almost as long as I have. Maybe a little bit less. Well, a little bit less, obviously, but he's been in a couple of big killer bands.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks. Well, me and Bobby have been friends for a long time too. I mean, we all go back way old school, let me be honest. I used to go see Overkill up in Dover. Overkill was so awesome, man, because they were the one band that I just have to say this. It's pretty cool. They were the one band that you went to go see. They had a stage show. It wasn't like, I got a couple of Marshalls. No, man. They put on a show, and I had the the great privilege to play with Dee Dee in a band, and I got to see like how Overkill really works, like with the lights and how they do it. And I definitely learned a lot from that and watching Overkill back in the day. I mean, you go see Overkill now, it's like seeing them in the 80s. It's still, Blitz is still one of the greatest frontmen out there. Sorry, Bobby, I got to be honest with that.
Absolutely.
I mean, we always say this. So many of us say this about him. I know Bittner forever. I mean, Jay. I mean, we're all old friends. But I got to tell you, you look at Bobby. Bobby could be 100 years old, and you would never know it. He's the same guy he was when he fucking headlined Little Morris, and that's the way it is, dude. Don't ever change, Blitz. Never.
I'm getting all sweaty here, Jack. I'm getting all sweaty. You know, I'm not. Rich knows this about me. It's like, you know, I actually said to Rich in the interview once, and this guy was giving me a build up like that, and I said, "Are you done?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, the ass kissing's over. Let's get down to the interview."
That's awesome.
Yeah, but Jack and I toured Europe. We had them with us with Seven Witches when James Rivera was in there.
Right.
And that was a real fun tour.
That was.
Yeah.
What year was that?
That was a tour that Skolman wasn't able to make.
No, that was 2000, right? Or 2002?
2003 or 2. I'm trying to think. It was because I know Derek wasn't there.
We did it as a 4-piece.
Yeah, the 4-piece. Just Dave, and it was like 2 4-piece. It was great, and we went. Our first show was in Greece with Overkill, Destruction, and Us. That was awesome.
Oh yeah,
that was cool. That was great. And Rich has a great story from that tour.
I do.
You do.
Yeah, I don't know if Bobby, if you were there, but you guys were you guys on the same bus, or did you share a bus?
Yeah, we shared a bus.
We shared a bus with Seven. Yeah.
Yep.
So Jack calls me, and he's like, "Somebody wants to talk to you." So Dee Dee gets on the phone, and he's like, "Rich," he's like, "Do you really like power metal?" He's like, "Do you really like Halloween and Blind Guardian and Stradivarius and Hammerfall?" And he's like going on, all the big guys. I was like, "Yeah, you know I love those bands, right?" So he goes, "I want you to go to your CD collection, get all those CDs, go to the nearest window, open it up, and throw them all out."
That was brilliant.
One of the best calls I ever got. So good.
Right. I think we're losing Cheyenne here, but Cheyenne, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being on the Am I Evil project. We are honored to have you part of the Am I Evil creative team, man. This guy's,
it's my pleasure.
His artwork is brilliant. He's done some of my favorite images ever done. Not just the ones you did of me. some of the best. And by the way, don't get any weird ideas. It's their PG rated images he did of me. But
I painted him like one of my French boys.
Yes. Yeah, my name is Jack, right? But anyway, thank you so much, Brian, for being here. You are the best. I really appreciate it. And
thank you.
I'll be in touch a lot more. I'll be sending
links. All right, good guys.
So
I'll contact you through Rich so we can stay in touch. I'd love to see some of your stuff, bro.
Oh yeah, sure. ArcadeTimes.com. That's my website, my portfolio. Freshly pressed nightmares made to order.
Wow.
See you later.
Awesome. All right, bro.
All right. Thanks, Cheyenne.
Thanks. So Jack.
Which Jack?
Which
Jack?
So everybody that's been on, we've asked them, what's your connection to, since we're talking about Am I Evil and Diamond Head, what's your connection to that song? Do you have any history with it? Were you a big fan when it came out? Did you ever tour with Diamond Head?
Well, let's be honest, man. Like, if it wasn't for Diamond Head, I guess you guys already went over this. I mean, they wouldn't be Metallica. I mean, let's get it straight. I mean, those guys were playing cover songs at the Whiskey, and like, back to the story, it's like, hey man, I really like your band. And it's like, well, these aren't even our songs, but I mean, how can you not like the first few Metallica records? So basically, Diamond Head was the stepping stone for a lot of the power metal bands. And I mean, Brian's riffs, man, they were just they're still to this day like ridiculous. I mean, and then with Diamond Head, I'm really good friends with Carl, the drummer. We go back a long time. Never got to tour with them, but 3 years ago, I almost played guitar for them when the guitar player couldn't make it to the States, but unfortunately that didn't pan out. And actually, Carl's playing drums for me now in a couple of projects I'm doing. So,
Nice.
I mean, Diamond Head is like, I mean, they're like the forefathers of like, Bobby, wouldn't you say they're like one of the original thrash bands, like starting like that kind of era in that genre, like that power metal?
Oh, for sure. I mean, they had a little bit more piss and vinegar than what was going on at that particular time. So for sure, they were the stepping stone to what followed. I don't know if I would absolutely call them a thrash band, but for sure you can feel it. I mean, I just did a record of called BPMD with Portnoy, Mengi, and Phil Bemmel, and the idea behind that was that it was a stepping stone into the metal of the 80s. It was hard rock shit from the 70s, but right. Diamond Head was a step beyond Mountain or a step beyond Cactus. Right. The songs that we had covered. So sure, were they closer to thrash? I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they of course they didn't have like that heavy triplet picking thing, but they just, like you were saying, they definitely put, like, that house was built, so that bottom of, that bass, they definitely did a big bass. And I mean, I mean, even to today, man, their new stuff's just really killer, man. You can see the difference in production too. Like, their old stuff is a little more raw. Now they're a little more polished, and they're great. They're great. They go with the times. It's pretty cool.
Well, it's cool to see. I mean, and you know it because you've been in the scene, and I know it. And these guys witnessed it. If the music has value through generations, and you can present it, and it's being presented like a new Diamond Head record is going to be presented in 2020. You know that it transcends that time. That there's something valuable about it that has been strung through, how many of those generations. I mean, for those guys, at least 3. I mean, I know it's for me 3, right. So maybe for them 4, at this particular time. So that to me is always the amazing thing, that it's because of the commitment, the originality, and the want of a new generation to hear what that originally was. That's where their value is, almost undisposable to a point.
Yeah, no, well said. I totally agree.
That wasn't the meat-headed side of me.
Yeah, I was impressed. No, that's
that was my Bubba. My friend's watching, and I said that was my Bubba.
But no, I agree, man. The riffs Tatler wrote. I mean, it's just, and you're right. We owe a lot, all of us do. Because I mean, without them, I mean, thrash owes a lot. Even though they weren't a thrash band, when we talked to Brian Tatler, he kind of compared his own guitar sound more to like AC/DC and that kind of stuff. I definitely. But Bobby, I wanted to ask you about the cover record. Let's talk about it, because that's still pretty fresh in people's mind. It's still current. Yeah, what can you tell us about that whole project?
Well, it was just fun. It came along at the right time. It was Mark Mengi's idea. He always wanted to do something with me. He and I are kind of notorious for, sticking our fingers in each other's ribs. I mean, that's what our relationship is based on, is ball busting. I always say, like, when you're from New Jersey, if you're not busting somebody's balls, that's when you should worry, because that means they don't like you. But if you're busting their balls, it means, the guy likes me at least. So Mark and I have that relationship, and he called me one day and said, let's do this. And, by the end of the conversation, it was more than just, yes, let's get Mike Portnoy and Phil Bemmel involved. And I think within 48 hours, we had a band. Within 3 weeks, we had drum tracks done. So it was, I think the most valuable thing about it was, for me, the fun aspect was revisiting my youth, because it was songs like From Mountain and Cactus and ZZ Top and Blue Oyster Cult. So for me, that was a no-brainer to go back into the 70s. But I think the record came out at a good time. It was, we had been discussing the release date. Should we postpone it based on the pandemic? And then, I was sitting there going, fuck it. You can't let everything just kind of rule your life. And all it is a fun record. And I don't think everybody's going to love it. But I think for sure, there's some people out there that followed or took the same steps into metal, from that American hard rock into the new wave of British heavy metal, into what happened in the 80s, understand that, and it would be a good time to release it, when everybody's kind of pent up, because it's really, it's a backyard barbecue shit kicker is what it is. Well performed and some good choices of songs. But again, is it metal? I mean, if you're a metal purist, is it, I mean, it may turn you green and you may hate it, but the point is that, for a guy like me, this is where I cut my teeth on. So.
Yeah, it's great sounding stuff too. I really
Thanks.
enjoyed the record.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
I know we're Jersey guys are supposed to bust each other's chops, but like you said, I don't know you guys that well. So I'll say it was a great fucking album. Shit, I liked my brain went black, Rich. So I'm going to turn over to you.
Wait, give me 1 second. I'm going to leave and come back because my audio is really low right now. So give me a second.
Sure.
All right. I'll be
He's
right back.
gonna leave and go get some ho-hos.
I can tell you,
Look,
he's got to take.
Or funny bones. No ho-hos.
Oh, funny bones. All right.
No, it's
All
got
right,
to be
give me 1
Drake's
second.
cakes. But
He's got to take a dump.
Just be honest, dude.
yeah, I got to go for 10 minutes.
Hey, listen, my audio's out. Yeah, anything you say.
All
I
right.
would have brought my brother in the bathroom with me. How was it? You good?
That was
was
much
fast.
better.
Actually, I got to ask. So, Bobby, is it true that you're a big chocolate guy? That this is one of your passions on the side? Is that a true statement?
Rich, did you wash your hands? Okay, good.
You look about 10 pounds lighter, Catino.
Thanks.
I imported chocolates for about a 10 or 11 year period, but those businesses are gone and have been gone since 2015. So they were sold.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
All
it was a family business for approximately 11, 12 years.
Is that like a thing? That's like a passion of yours? Like you still like to get like some people are into fine wines and that kind of shit? Is that a thing? Like a lot about chocolates? Because I don't know the first thing. Like it's a Hershey's bar. Or it's
Had a good business partner, and it was it seemed like a no-brainer at the time. It was just
cool.
what else can I do? That kind of a thing.
I gotcha. All right, Rich. Now that you're back and settled, and you're
Okay.
clean.
Well, let's get a quick update from Jack, what he's got going on since last time we talked to him when they did the Streaming for Vengeance show with Brave Words, right?
Yes, sir.
So what's happening with you?
Well, I just got to say that show was unbelievable, man. I cannot believe we're up to 36,000 views. I just am floored that it went so well. And like all the money went to DO Cancer Fund, which was really great. Bobby, you would have loved it. We played so many songs like from what we're from, UFO, Montrose, like a lot of old school stuff, Rainbow, Purple, and it was great, man. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I talk to Tim all the time. He goes, "Man, that was such a great show." So it was great. We're talking about maybe doing another one down the road, which would be a lot of fun. But like with everything going on, it's hard to get 5, 6, 7 guys in a room, to get together and even get together to rehearse anymore the way it is with COVID, unfortunately.
Right.
But
Right.
I mean, you guys are starting your record next week, right, Bobby?
Yeah, we are. I heard this was successful. I remember you texted me to social media. I passed it on to my guys to do that. I'm one of those retards that doesn't have social media even to this day, personally.
Yeah, me neither.
Probably keeps me a little cleaner, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you're not missing anything.
It's okay. I got a phone. Pick up the phone if you want to talk. That's it. So I guess like last week I finished a record up. I'm not really supposed to, I guess, I don't know what the deal is. Like, I don't know what's happening, but I did a record for, as I was saying, for Ronnie Monroe, ex-Metal Church singer. So I know Chris Caffery played on it. Joe Holster played on it. I played on it. And I finished 9 songs for it. It was awesome. Ronnie sounds killer on it. And all I know is they're mixing it next week. I don't know what they're going to call it. I don't know if it's Ronnie's solo band. I don't know if it's going to be a band, but I just can tell you that it's going to come out on Frontiers, and I know they're going to start mixing it on the 15th.
Hey, Ronnie's always had a set of pipes, man. I mean, he's always had a set of pipes on him, you know.
Yeah.
Give him my best when you see him. I don't have his contact information, but tell him I said hello.
I sure will, man. He's living in North Carolina now, so you know he's not too far. But the whole band, I guess the rest of the band's all in Italy because it's Frontiers thing. So, but you'll like the stuff. It's really good. It's got a very, very early Queensryche kind of feel to it. Kind of interesting, but heavier.
Okay.
Nice.
And I guess, like I was saying, Carl from Diamond Head. Right now, I'm in the midst of writing a new Witches record and writing another project, more of a old school Badlands meets kind of Montrose meets just more 70s with a harder edge, a little more rock, but a little more raw, like that first Montrose record. And Carl's playing drums on it. And the original singer, that's still the singer from Every Mother's Nightmare, is going to sing a few songs on it too as a guest. So I've been pretty busy in my studio just doing that. And I just did a solo for Dee Dee about 3 weeks ago because Casket's got a special box set coming out. So Dee Dee and Charlie found all these archives from the band and unreleased tracks. So he sent me a track to play on. It was so much fun. So, to go back to where, that was such a fun band. And so kind of busy. Yeah. So I'm getting a lot of work now, not leaving my house, which is a good thing because there ain't no tours going on right now. We can't leave our house, unfortunately. But, thank God football starts tomorrow. So, but that's really it, man. I'm really busy, just like, 7 to 10 hours a day recording at home. So it's good.
Yeah. Worst ways to spend the time, for sure. Like mowing your lawn.
Home, right, Bobby? It's a lot easier to have your own studio now than having to go up to the carriage house, which was always fun. But, the time limit. Now you can kind of you're just not feeling it. Like I was saying to you guys, especially being a singer, how many days have you woke up in a studio and okay, the clock's ticking, you've got to sing today, even if you don't feel like it, you feel like shit. Now it's kind of a thing where, man, my body's not up to it. Or you're just not feeling it on guitar or something. It's great. Mm-hmm. You can shut down and, you still have a deadline, but you're not. It's the great thing about technology now. But, still nothing like getting in a room with 4 or 5 guys and just, tearing it up, though. That's always
great point.
I meant to ask you before, Bob, before Jack came on, about the virtual thing. Has Overkill ever thought of doing something in the studio?
No, we haven't. No. I mean, we tossed it around and it just doesn't seem like it's us. It seems like it's it's pale by comparison. I get that, and I enjoy some of these, split screen jams or even if a whole band gets together. I enjoy it, but I think that, our element, and we've understood it for years, is that, the whether it be the 5th or the 6th member of the band for all these years, it's always been an audience. Our rehearsals are shit compared to, what electricity is generated by an audience, whether that be 200 or 2,000. And I think that, sure, you have to adapt to what's going on at this time, and I understand why people do it, and believe me, I enjoy it. From even some of the pop shit I've seen, I've enjoyed, or somebody tearing into something. I saw Dennis DeYoung tear into Best of Times behind his piano one day, and was like, oh my God, that was just, that was beautiful, Yeah. And under those circumstances, I understand it as being a fan. But I think for an Overkill concert, there's something about that hairy edge where somebody's. It feels dangerous. I don't think it feels dangerous without that extra element, and that being the audience. So I think in our case, compromise there was something that we just had to draw a line and say, we're going to ride this out. We're going to write a record. We're going to do things the way we've done it. Hey, man, we're too old to change. Hey, you fucking kids, get out of my yard.
Get off my fucking lawn.
So take your sister Cooter with you.
Does the fact that it's the 20th, is that mean anything different, or is it just another work day for you guys?
I think it's business as usual, and that's where the best results will come out. I think if I've never thought of us as celebratory. I mean, Jack knows us personally, Rich knows us personally. I mean, sure, we're celebratory, but it's like a day-to-day celebration. It's not this big thing. I think the only thing we've ever done is the last DVD where it was celebratory, and that was just a one-night thing. That was the Horoscope Feel the Fire live out of Germany. But this is our one big celebration, over all these years. I mean, we've done DVDs, but that was our one, like, okay, this is specifically what it's going to be. So I don't know. I think we just do it like we should do it. I mean, we know what works for us, and why fuck with that formula right now? You've been getting up every day for fucking 40 years. You have one cup of coffee, you have a banana, and you have a roll. I mean, why fucking add eggs to it if everything's working? Hey, I don't want to be rude, but I got to get going. I got a few things I got to handle here. Jack reminded me I got to go into my studio because the clock's ticking. I heard him say, the clock's ticking. I'm like, oh, my God.
Well, yeah, no, thanks so much, man. It's been an honor.
Yes.
I appreciate having you on here. Next time you're out in Arizona, next time you're in Arizona, like when all this shit is over, if we're not on fire, I'll buy you a coffee or something. We'll, but yeah,
Sure.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, get my info from Rich and stay in touch. I mean, it's not the end of the world for any of us. I mean, it's just different. That's all it is. I mean, is it going to come back like
right, Bobby? It'll pass. Everything will pass.
Yeah, let's make it better. Make it more exciting.
And Alan said that he wasn't able to come back, but he said hello, and he wants me to also forward his number to you because he wanted to get in touch with you about something, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's probably that money I owe him. Of course. Give him my number. It would be no problem at all.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, good luck with the novel. Good luck with this launch of this. And fantastic to catch up with everybody.
Yes.
Great
Hope to see you soon.
Thanks.
All right, boys and girls. Right, keep it real. Bye-bye.
Yes.
All right. See ya. All right. Yeah. Well, so J.R. Murdoch said, great seeing Bobby. Go make some metal happen. Janessa Press said, 1 to the body, 2 to the jaw, DD Blitz. All right. You see Bobby's finger?
Yeah.
I can't turn off my fucking phone.
That's why we don't have Facebook. We're old school.
All right, that was my favorite part of the night. Was
that could win. Yeah, that could win the best part.
But this is. I mean, that was amazing, and we got the Badlands shirt.
Badlands? I forgot. We didn't do our shirt introduction. So this is my Metalheads Union shirt. I'm wearing that.
Okay.
Nice. Oh well, I've got the Diamond Head shirt and the Diamond Head hat. So, but actually, this is for the actual Hawaiian volcano Diamond Head. So this is a little different.
And I just have old school Ray Gillen. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
great album, that debut. That's a great album.
Ridiculous. The second one's great too.
It is.
I prefer the one on your shirt, but yeah, they're both. I mean, they're legends. I mean, if we hadn't had Tragedy, they would have been. They would have just been off the chart. It's tragic, but yeah, no, I mean, so yeah, Jack's great to see you, man. We've got
welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. We've got Scott Sigler's going to join us in a minute, by the way. So I'm disappointed we didn't get Scott Sigler and Bobby Blitz, and we got J.R. Murdoch's going to join us in a little while too. J.R. Murdoch is an author, and Scott Sigler is an author. He's also a rock star. He's actually played. I'll repeat this when he joins, but he actually has played in a band at Padres Stadium in San Diego. So he's got some music cred too. But it's been an exciting night. I'm stoked to see Jack. It's awesome, man.
You can see me anytime you want, Jack. Just call me. It's fine.
All right, yeah. I'll come over. We'll eat some ho-hos, and we'll.
Well, it's kind of far away right now, but if you want to come quarantine yourself for 14 days, you're more than welcome here.
Yeah.
I see Catino all the time.
Yeah, somewhat with the pandemic now, somewhat.
Somewhat. He came over to watch Bill and Ted's with the family.
Yeah, not bad.
He brought nasty chocolate cannolis. They were. I just looked at it. I had to walk away.
So good. So good.
Are those
you gotta have good
Drake's cakes?
What?
Are those Drake's cakes?
No tasty cakes. This was the real deal.
Real deal. Yeah. Yep.
All
right. I was going to ask Jack, when is the Bronze Casket box set coming out? Do you know?
What I heard was I think they were trying to do it for Halloween, which would have been cool because I know there's going to be a coffin and everything. But
yeah,
dude, I got to be honest with you. With
things
everything
delayed.
that's going on in the world, all the stuff's done and stuff. It's not even Dee Dee's fault or anything. It's more of manufacturers. You can't get things like, dude, guys that own amp companies and guitar companies, they can't get pots or tubes for their amps. So everything is just, we were hoping for Halloween, but you never know. I mean, we'll find out soon, hopefully,
Yeah.
But guys, I got to tell you, wait till you hear Ronnie's record. Wow.
Yeah. I always enjoyed his voice, and those 4 Metal Church records are very overlooked and underrated.
Dude, it's so good. And I'm not trying to say because I played on it. I came way after the fact. I mean, I'm just happy to be a part of it. But I'm really stoked, man. I have not been this much in love with my guitar since I was like 20 years old. So like I said to you guys, everyone's bitching about, COVID and everything. This is the best thing that ever happened to me. It made me fall in love with music all over again. So I'm in my basement all the time, so I'm going for it.
And so what did you do? Did they just basically come on down and do some solos, or did you come down and do some writing?
Everything because Alexandro, he's in Italy. He's the songwriter for like Hardline, Revolution Saints. He writes for everybody, man. I mean,
he guests on a lot of stuff too.
What?
He guests on a lot of stuff too.
Yeah. Guest on a lot, but he's awesome. So we've been talking over the years, and I saw him on the cruise, and he goes, "Are you 100% serious about this?" I wake up one morning, here's the full album, and I knocked it out in 2 weeks. He gave me the nicest compliments, and I gotta tell you, man, and you guys know me, Rich, better than anybody. I never toot my own horn, but man, I played my ass off on this record. I never had. I'm like a kid again. Like, wait till you hear the new stuff I've been writing. I'm on 11. So
okay, all right,
nice.
And I just so psyched that Carl from Diamond Head's playing drums. Like, it's cool. I mean, we've been friends for such a long time, and I mean, talk about an iconic drummer. I mean, I play with some of the greatest. Jeff Plate, Johnny Kelly. I mean, just, insane drummers, and just, Tishy, Castronova. But I mean, like, they get to play with someone like Carl, where he comes from, his British side. He's going to put such a, UK kind of vibe to it. So
how long has he been playing in Diamond Head?
Oh man, I really couldn't tell you. I just know that I know him ever since then. And like I told you guys the story, it was like October years ago when Witches was on tour. He called me up and asked me, how much would it cost to get you to play guitar in Diamond Head? I'm like, I mean, am I paying you or you're paying me? So he's just great, dude. And then like, I'm just stoked to be, doing something with him, It's an honor to me, actually.
Cool.
He's been there for a long time, Rich.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have to do research here, see if I can find it.
Could do some.
Sorry. Just had my amazing wife, who's actually on the team, just brought me some tacos. So
nice.
So not bad.
Amazing wife brought you tacos.
Yeah.
The one that works all day at the hospital.
Well, because we got the little one at home, she's not. She actually brought stuff to her former coworker. She did this amazing thing. She raised all these funds and brought all this money and all this stuff, all these like masks and stuff. And we want to get into like, well, wait a minute, why don't they have that stuff in the hospital? Like that's a different conversation. But she brought it to them. Yeah, and
you were saying that like right before we did the stream, how awesome, that's great, man. And I'm glad it works, especially with kids. You got to be careful. It's got to be careful.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this was just she took time off for our little one just to kind of be there for her because it's not that we're rich, which it was just a decision.
No, that's rich.
Yeah, that's rich over there. Damn it.
Damn it. That way, or I don't know.
So you just go back to Diamond Head for a minute. I'm looking up their history here, and I think he showed up on Death and Progress in 1993. So he's been in the band that long?
What do you mean?
Carl playing drums for Diamond Head.
93?
Carl. 93, Death and Progress.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, fun.
He's done a lot of other projects too, man. He's he was a Jersey guy for a long time.
He was?
Yeah, he lived here for a long time, and then he went out to Vegas. I think he lived in Arizona for a while. Now he's in France. Yeah. We are from France.
So if I'm following him around, I guess I have to go to France next because I grew up in Jersey and then went to Arizona.
You're like,
yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Scott Sigler says he's going to join us in a minute. Yeah, we've been doing this we've been going for over 2 hours. I don't feel it at all. Yeah.
Who'd you guys have so far besides Blitz?
Yeah.
Techio was here for a little while.
Techio shot popped in. Awesome.
Yeah. We actually had too many people here. I had to kick myself out and I had to kick Rich out for a little while. We had some legends of podcasting on earlier too. We had a guy named Evo Terra who's basically this isn't my words. He's been called the godfather of podcasting. And we had T. Morris and Pip Ballantyne, who are just monsters in the podcast world. And we had Cheyenne Wright as a Hugo Award. He's one of our artists. He's a Hugo Award-winning artist. And actually, speaking of legends of podcasting,